Hello and welcome to the Brighton and Hove Albion digital event space here at the American Express Stadium. I'm Alex Aljoe and I am thrilled to be your host for this exclusive live event. We are really excited to be showing you our digital landscapes and giving you an insight into the workings here at the American Express Stadium. And it makes our virtual environment look a lot better if we can see your faces. So please keep your cameras on for the duration of the event. And if you like what you're seeing, please share on social media using the hashtag BHA Jugo. That's Jugo. And we're going to take you on an exclusive virtual tour of our fabulous stadium. We're going to take you into the city, to the seafront, and we're going to also hear from you, the fans, and give you a chance to ask our players some questions. Speaking of the players, I'm delighted to say we're joined by two of our fantastic team members, by Fran Kirby, by Nikita Parris, who happen to be two of England's Lionesses as well. Fran, Nikita, thank you so much for joining me. How happy are you to be here at this virtual stadium, the virtual Amex?
Yeah, it's something different. It's the first time I think I've done something like this. So yeah, no, really, really cool. And it's obviously cool to be able to answer a few questions from the fans and be a part of it.
Happy to be here, Nikita?
Yeah, very happy to be here, and let's connect. Let's get your questions in.
Yes, okay. So while we're here sitting inside the stadium, it's time to reflect on the season so far. We can start by showing you some of Nikita's highlights.
Simons to hit one through the crowd, it's in! It's redirected home by Nikita Parris.
Here's the far post, it's been kept alive and it's been put in. How about that?
Looking back for Karabali, it's a lovely ball. Is there a finish at the end of it? It's in, and it's Nikita Parris again. She just cannot stop scoring.
Some great moments there, Nikita. How have you settled in so far? How have you found it? What are some of your highlights?
Yeah, I've settled in really well. Obviously, came knowing that Fran was already here, so it's always nice to come into a change room when you already know someone. And a few of the other girls I have played at other clubs with, so that was really nice. And settled in really well. I think that style of play in which the team want to play. It's very comfortable for me to play possession-based football, and we started the season really well. Second half of the season hasn't gone according to plan, but for us as a team, we want to continue to build and find that consistency throughout the league as a whole. So there's plenty more ahead for us.
Did Fran help convince you then? Tell you good things, Agent Fran?
Yeah. Hey, very good agent, by the way. So yeah, she definitely gave me a little pretext, which was really nice, to give me a heads up of what it was like and stuff. And I think it was a no-brainer once I knew the sort of environment I was coming into, playing style. Yeah.
Okay, well, Nikita, we've seen your highlights, so it's time to see your highlights, Fran. Here they are.
It's going to be a load of penalties, I think.
Up steps Kirby. New season, new club, same Fran Kirby. Kirby might find a finish at the end of it. It's Fran Kirby. It's 3-2 Brighton and Hove Albion. The player for the big stage. Runs from McLaughlin. Good first touch. Back to Kirby. And the Albion lead in London. And Fran Kirby's on the score sheet again.
Fran, a really impressive season for you so far. How have you found it? How are your levels, your fitness levels? Feeling good?
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it. I think it's been, as Nikita said, I think obviously the first half of the season was really, really good, and we've tried to kind of carry on from that in the second half of the season. Hasn't gone to plan so far, but we know what the journey is and we know what we're trying to do. But yeah, no, I'm in a good place. Obviously, I was disappointed when I got the injury that I did in December. But, I've worked hard to try and get myself back on the pitch and try and help the girls. So, yeah, I'm in a good place, and hopefully, I can keep building the match minutes, training minutes, and just kind of keep myself on the grass.
You've both represented England on the biggest stage. What's it like balancing club football with football for your country as well? Nikita, we'll start with you.
I think it can be a challenge, especially, the amount of games that you do play, the minutes that you do end up accumulating, but ultimately, they're the stages that you want to be on. You work so hard each and every day to perform on a Sunday, and then hopefully that's good enough to then get you selected for your national team. And when you go there, you want to show your talents, and you do want to play in all the games. So ultimately, you have to find a way to battle through it and also stay as fit as possible, because ultimately you want to stay available as much as you can.
Mm-hmm. How tough is it being at that level, the highest level for both your club and country when they need you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what Keith said now. If you're playing well for your club, then you have a good chance, of getting that England call up. And I think obviously Nikita is a perfect example of that, getting that call up again and being involved in it again. And, she's done extremely well this season for us. So, I think it's definitely earned. And the same with Maisie as well. I think, it just shows that if you are playing well and playing consistently well, then you are going to get given that chance. And, it's what you want to do. So you're never going to complain about having to, play for your club week in, week out, and then going away to national teams. So, everyone is super proud to represent this club and also represent their countries. And as long as we keep playing well and we keep building ourselves as a club, hopefully many more can get selected for their national teams, as so many are already.
You mentioned Maisie obviously just got called up. How happy were you all for her, Nikita? Much deserved.
Yeah, much deserved, and I'm very proud of her. She's still such a young player, and she's got so much to build on. And it's a nice moment when you've put in hard work throughout the seasons, and it finally comes to fruition in this moment where she gets selected for camp. And I'm sure she's worked so hard for Brighton, but also England under 23s, and it shows the pathway is there for young players. If when your opportunity comes, you need to take it.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Right, we'll get to questions from fans in just a moment, but first we're going to hear from someone you both know very well. We've got a surprise for you. Take a listen to this. Hopefully.
Hi Fran, hi kids. We just have a question for you guys. If you were to be a dog, what breed would you be? Right? I would be a golden retriever. What would you be? Tell them. What would you be? Yeah, say it. Exactly.
Thank you very much, Maria, for that question. Right, big, important question here. If you were a dog, Fran, what dog would you be? What breed would you be, and why?
I would say I'd be like a greyhound or something. One that has energy. Has energy when it needs to do it, but when it goes home, it just likes to sleep and be left alone. I think that would be. That's
a good one. Yeah.
It's a perfect example of what I would be.
That's a good insight into your life.
Yeah, like when I'm training, I'm really intense, and I want to train well and do well, and I want to do everything right. But when I go home, I just want to be on my sofa, relaxed, cuddle with my dog, and then. Yeah, so
that's a great answer.
Yeah, it's a great answer. No pressure, but I'm not really too great on dog breeds because I'm not really a big dog fan. But I would say I'm two different personalities in terms of on the pitch. I'm so aggressive, so I probably can't be more like a pit bull. I'm very aggressive on the pitch and want to win, passionate, and then off the pitch, I think I'm just quite relaxed, always joking, quite lovable. Don't really know what type of dog that is, to be honest. But
nearly every dog.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Okay, so pit bull when you're training and in matches, and a nice
I'm sure the opposition would say that.
What should you say? Like a nice as well, or something. Yeah,
I'm very sure
they'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, great, brilliant answers there for Maria. Thank you for your question. Okay, it's time to get to fans' questions now. So the first one is for both of you, and it's from Claire Stevenson, who says, "What was it like the first time you stepped onto the pitch at Wembley?" Fran, we'll start with you.
It was a real surreal moment for me. I think it was when we played Germany the first time. I think it was the first ever game for England at Wembley for the women's. And I remember coming on, and we weren't winning in the game, but I remember the reaction of the crowd and hearing kind of the noise. And it wasn't even a sold out Wembley. And I remember coming on and I was like, wow, this is the big time now. Like, this is, you have to step up now. So yeah, that was such a surreal moment and an amazing occasion to be a part of, and to hear that crowd. And obviously now, we're able to play in front of, so many fans at Wembley, and it's incredible where the game has gone to, but to be able to be part of that, it was so incredible.
Wow, can imagine. What about you, Nikita? The feeling, first time at Wembley?
Yeah, the first time at Wembley, it was actually a club game. Was the FA Cup final, and I remember just thinking, "Wow, this is big." And that was before there was people even in the stadium. And we got to do like a pre-match walk. They wouldn't let us on the grass, so I was thinking, "Oh, this is prestigious! Like not allowed on the grass." Like wow. And then when the game kicked off, the roar of the crowd, and it, like Fran said, at that point it was like probably 40,000, so it wasn't even a full out stadium, but the noise that it echoes around was crazy. Yeah, it was an amazing feeling.
Okay, right. Next question. This is for you, Nikita. It's from Ken Pierce. When did you know you wanted to be a footballer?
I don't think there was ever one moment where I thought I want to be a footballer. I think the ball kind of gravitated to me. It was the first thing I picked up. I picked up a ball and my twin sister picked up a doll. So that's how very different we are. And I think from a young age, I always had a football kit on. I always was carrying my ball, wanting to play with the other kids in the close. So yeah, I think football chose me, if I'm being honest.
Love that. That's a good answer. Very good. Okay, this is for you, Fran. It's from Shannon Stevens. What songs do you listen to in the dressing room before a game?
It's a mix of everything, really.
It's a very...
To be honest, I sent my songs to Poppy at the beginning of the year, and I haven't heard one yet. So I think that tells me everything about my music taste. But
so Poppy's in charge.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think they were that bad.
Give us an example, one song, maybe.
Oh, I can't even remember now. God.
Genre.
No, see, I like a bit of everything, to be honest. Like, to be fair, if I'm in the gym by myself, I'll put my country music on.
I love country.
I love a bit of country. But I only sent one song, country, to Poppy. Haven't heard it. But I like a bit of like old school R&B.
Yeah.
So I like all the old school jams, and again, haven't heard any of them. So I mean, I don't think I'm doing too well here.
Hopefully she's watching.
But, yeah. But I mean, I don't think it's that bad. But I would say old school R&B I like, but I do like some of the songs that's played, but not all of them.
Surely country's quite hard to get you going in the gym. It's quite slow, isn't it?
You can get some like upbeat ones, a bit of Zach Brown band, and you do all right. But I think the slower ones I just say for myself in the gym when no one else is there. I normally do the gym when I come in early so I can listen to my own music.
Yeah, I like it. I love that, because it's not allowed otherwise.
No, people come in and probably want to turn it off and change it. When I was doing my rehab, I literally would have my music on all the time, and I'd be watching people going over to the iPad like,
ooh, whose music is this? Can we change it?
My gym right now.
I remember thinking, who's this new artist? I've been out for like 10 years.
That's brilliant. Brilliant. Right. Brilliant answers, brilliant questions as well from the fans. It's time to move locations, and we're going to find out a bit more about both of our players. Okay, we are now here inside the dressing room at the Amex. I know you don't play there all the time. You played there a couple of times already this season against West Ham, against Manchester United, and soon on the 19th of April against Liverpool. Tickets go on sale on Friday. There's a link in the chat to buy them. You can go on the club website, so make sure you don't miss that. Fran, what is it like playing at the Amex? Is it a different feeling?
Yeah, it's such a nice stadium. The pitch is just incredible, and when you go out there you kind of just get a sense of the club in terms of how it's run, and the stadium being the way it is makes you feel like you're really part of the football club, and we really love playing there. The surface is immaculate, and that's what you want as a footballer. Changing rooms are amazing as well, so it's such a nice stadium. And of course, each game, I think when we played West Ham to Man United, the crowd sizes are growing and growing as well, which is really nice for us. And I remember when I scored the goal against West Ham and the crowd noise, it was just incredible. So yeah, it's been really nice, and hopefully, obviously we play Liverpool there in a few weeks' time. Hopefully,
hear the noise again. That's good incentive.
And then hopefully, we can keep building there and keep, growing that crowd base there as well.
Nikita, how does it compare to other stadiums you've played in, the Amex?
I think it's a great stadium, and I remember we played a qualifier before the 2019 World Cup at the Amex against Denmark, and we won. So it was always a good home for me. Always I loved coming to the Amex because we got the wins there as a team. So, you know, playing against Manchester United for the first time, you know, it was a great game to open at the Amex, and, you know, the crowd, the atmosphere, you know, it's like a 12th man. It brings like a different sort of energy for the team, and the style of play in which we want to play on the surfaces like the Amex has. Like, as Fran said, unbelievable stadium.
Fran, how much do you feed off that energy that Nikita just mentioned, the fans being the 12th man? How much does it help you when you're out on the pitch?
Yeah, it helps massively. I think as a player, you know, when you pick up the ball and you're driving and you hear the crowd's like anticipation come with you, you just kind of get that buzz a little bit, and you kind of have to like bring yourself back down to that composure level again. But I think, to be fair, like, I think throughout the whole season, you know, we've had some really good crowds, you know, at Crawley, at the MX, and also away as well. I think we've got a really good fan base that are travelling around and watching us play now. And, you know, we want to give back to them who come and watch. We want to play nice football. We want to score goals. We want to do the right thing. So, you know, I think there's been some really good moments this year of us showing that, and obviously some that haven't quite gone our way. But, you know, whenever people ask me, what do you want to say to the fans? It's like, just stick with us, stick with the process. You know, there's going to be mistakes along the way. We're under a new manager, there's a lot of new players, and we're all trying to find this way of playing the right style of football and trying to get them results. So I think, like I said, there's been some really good moments of that, and there's moments that we need to improve on. But overall, I think it helps us massively having them in the stands and cheering for us. And like I said, for me, I get so excited when I hear them get excited with me. So yeah, hopefully we can keep building that and keep building our fan bases where we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. It's time now to get some more questions from our fans. This one is for both of you, and it's come from Joe Davis. Okay. So once your playing career is over, do you think you'll stay in the game or explore pastures anew? Fran?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because I think obviously the obvious route is to stay in it, you know, and for me, I really want to help grow the women's game off the pitch, as well as, you know, the likes of me and Nikita have done on it. I think obviously when we both started, comparing it to now, and the battles that we've had to fight and the meetings that we've had to have to get certain things, you know, I think that is something that we can still drive off the pitch as well. So I'd really love to be in women's football in that kind of capacity as well, whether that's, you know, helping grow the game in schools, grow the game in clubs, or whatever. Like, I think I would really love to kind of be part of that and still help grow it, because, you know, it still has so much to grow. You know, we're in an amazing place right now, and the way women's football is going, but it still needs a lot of work as well, and the right people behind the scenes to make them decisions and to give advice as a player. You know, we're the ones that are in it, we're the ones that feel it, we're the ones who do it every single day. So our experience going into that hopefully should open, you know, more ideas into it. So I would love to stay involved in the game and, you know, continue, you know, the work that so many have done before me and what I've been able to do throughout the last few years.
What about you, Nikita? Something similar?
Yeah, I think I would definitely stay in the game. I think I would like to be a coach, to be honest, and then hopefully go on to being a sporting director.
You can't get involved with the refs.
Ambitious, I was going to say.
That's very tricky.
Do you think that would be a tricky occupation for Nikita?
Like, now you're rubbing off on me.
It's contagious.
I was on the whole game the other day.
But do you think she'd be a good coach? Would you listen to her instructions?
I think you'd have to.
No choice. No choice. Okay, brilliant. Right. Thank you, Joe, for that question. The next question, this is for Fran. It's from Wendy Beach Ward, and she says, where would you like to see women's football in 5 years' time?
Wow. I think it's a really good question. I think for me, obviously it's quite a hot topic at the moment in terms of the Champions League, but, you know, I think women's facilities have to improve, you know, and that's pitches, that's changing rooms, that's all of the things that help the game get to another place. And it's not just, you know, teams abroad, it's also in our country. You know, some of the stadiums, the pitches we play on, they're not good enough. So I think for me, that would be the next step going forward, is how can we make it that, you know, people who come to watch the game get to watch the best version of the football that they can. And people watching on TV, you know, it's really funny when we watch it on TV and you see the pitch and you're like, oh, it doesn't look that bad when you're watching it from TV. And then you're actually there and you see it and it's like, there's barely any grass on the pitch, and, you know, the ball's bobbling here, there and everywhere. So I think in terms of that, I would love to see that get better, because then I think the product would get better on the pitch. And for me, I'm a football girl, so I care about how the football looks, how the football's played, and, you know, all of these things. So I would like to see the facilities improve before, you know, thinking about anything else. Because for me, as long as the product is getting better on the pitch, then you have more chance of kind of growing it more off the pitch.
Yeah, of course, yeah. No, brilliant. That's a great answer. Thank you for your question, Wendy. This one is for Nikita, and it's from Matt Pilgrim. What has been your best goal you have scored this season for Brighton?
I would probably say the United goal, just because of the whole, I guess, atmosphere around that goal, that game. Also, the fact that it was just almost a reaction. It wasn't necessarily like, Maisie's going to cross the ball now and I'm going to head it across. Yeah. It was always like, Maisie's going to shoot and can you get your head on it kind of thing. So
would Maisie say it was a cross?
She would say it was a cross. Yeah. She would say it was a cross. A pinpoint perfect cross, she would say. But yeah, I think the United goal.
Yeah, you're nodding your head. You agree with that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just such a striker's finish. You know, Maisie really caught that ball as well. So to be able to react, keep herself on side as well, you know, obviously in them areas, and just react to it. It was, really good goal.
Right, brilliant. Matt, thank you so much for your question. Okay, well, we're here in the dressing room. This is where personalities shine through. What are you two like in the dressing room? Who's loud? Who's quiet?
We're both quite quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm loud.
Keep yourself to yourself.
Yeah, until half time.
Got your country music in.
half time we turn up.
Really? That's when you come into your own.
The game's gone. The girls will know. If Nikita's quiet, it must have been a good half.
Yeah.
if I'm loud, everyone else wants to put the earphones in.
Yeah. Who is loud at the beginning? Who's loud before you go out?
We don't really have many loud people. We have the music on, and a couple, maybe Deki, Aisha, maybe have a little bit of a dance.
Yeah.
But nothing too crazy. No.
Yeah.
We're
Before
quite
the
chilled.
game?
Yeah, we're
A
quite
dance.
chilled.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then post-match, not so much maybe.
Yeah, post-match, if the game's gone well, we do like a little celebration.
Yeah.
Really?
Nice,
What's that? Like, I know.
It's normally who scored.
Yeah. So
if someone scored,
you do.
you kind of like
Give them their flowers,
moments.
I guess.
Yeah,
Love
it's
it.
quite nice.
Love it. Love it. Okay. What's the biggest difference with dressing rooms at club level and with England, would you say?
I wouldn't say it's much different now. I would say when Jill Scott was in the changing room, she'd be up doing all sorts, like, you know, doing a robot or something. So
she was crazy.
but we don't quite have that anymore in the changing room. So I'd say they're quite similar. Like every now and then, maybe someone will get up, but no, I think a lot of people are just fully focused on what they're doing, what their job is, and the task ahead. But yeah, Jill was the dancer for sure.
Yeah, she definitely was.
With the international fixtures on the horizon, how do you prepare mentally and physically for that?
To be honest, I don't think too far ahead. So I'm concentrating on tomorrow's training, the game on Sunday, the Manchester City, and then I think once you're on international camp, then you will start to, build into the game ahead. And I think we have like 4 or 5 days before the first game anyway. So you almost you don't want to think too far ahead. You want to stay in the moment, and I think that's the best way to be as a player personally. Because if you think about too many things going forward, you forget about living in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that. That's a good way to live, isn't it? For sure, for sure. Live for the moment. Right. Here in the dressing room, we've got the shirts hanging up behind us here. So it seems like the perfect time to remind you that you can buy replica shirts and merchandise by scanning the QR code right here. So make sure you do that. Okay, it's time now to leave the Amex. Should we head to the seafront? Yeah?
Well, we are in Brighton. He was so excited about that earlier.
Okay, well, let's go. Let's head to the seafront now. Wow, that was quick. Now we are at the seafront here, beautiful Brighton. Let's take a moment then to talk about the city. How have you both settled into life here? Nikita, do you like living by the sea?
Yeah, I do like living by the sea. I haven't lived by the sea before, to be honest. So when everyone kept telling me, "Oh, you're gonna live by the sea, live by the sea," I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess so." But actually, I found myself in the first couple of weeks when it was warm, when I first moved, I bought a deck chair. I'm not joking. I bought a deck chair. It cost me £15, quite cheap. And I took it to the beach, and I'm sitting there watching Netflix just on my own. And I see two dogs like coming close, and I'm not really a dog person, I'll be honest. So I kind of like froze, and then I can hear, "Oh, you!" And I looked around, and it was Vicky Lasada. I was like, of all the people, of all the places, how did I see you here? Walking the dogs. Story. And me just watching Netflix.
You're thinking this is a life?
Yeah, I was thinking, I love the sound of water. I like the sea. I'm happy.
Soothing, tranquil. Have you still got the deck chair?
Yeah. I mean, someone's come and
see. Yeah, I was going to say, it's time to get it out again.
Yeah.
Do you have any favourite spots? I don't know, fish and chip places you like to go to? No? No, you don't like fish and chips? No.
There's a nice steak place that I went to with Maria and Guru. Can't remember what it's called now. That was quite nice. Yeah, they've taken me a couple of times for some nice restaurants and places. So can't remember what it's called now. Coal Shed? Is that what it's called? I think it is.
No clue.
Do you feel settled? And I was going to say there are other places available. Do you feel settled? Do you feel happy here in Brighton?
Yeah, I'm really happy. I think, when I first came down here, and obviously I knew Maria from before, and she kind of told me that the group was really nice group of girls, and you come down here and you really feel that from when you come in, and the club as a whole, the people, and yeah, it's a really lovely place, and the fans as well. They've been really supportive and welcoming, so it's made everything a lot easier when you kind of move to a new club, when you've got good people around you.
Nikita, what do you enjoy most about being here compared to other places you've been?
I think for me, it's the environment as a whole. Like, the club, it's so chilled. Everyone knows their role, and you know what you have to do to make the place, the club, a better environment. But just generally walking around, people have got smiles on their faces, they're happy, and that just makes you happy. Obviously, the weather is definitely better down south than it is up north.
I was going to say it was cloudy in London when I left earlier, and it's sunny here.
The weather is definitely better down south than it is up north. But I think for me, it's literally the place really Brighton as a whole really complements how the club is run too.
Mm-hmm. And Fran, have you had a chance to explore much of the Brighton community outside of football?
Not really. No,
not yet.
No, not yet. No, to be honest, like I said, I'm quite a chilled person. I like to go home and be in my space and just kind of shut the world out a little bit. But I think from what I have experienced, obviously, like I said, I have been out a couple of times with a few of the team and the girls. It's just been a really nice, inclusive place to be in. And when you're walking around, and it's like, you just feel like you fit in, you feel like you belong in that kind of area. And it's the same when you come into this building. The first day I came in, it's like the first day of school now, it's a little bit, you're kind of walking in not knowing anyone, but it just kind of felt like I was just part of the furniture. As soon as I came in, it's like I'd been here for, 5 years. Yeah. So having that and having, that feeling when you come into a place is really nice.
Nikita, what do you think Brighton can achieve this season? And looking ahead, what do you think this team's capable of?
I think we've shown what we can do this season. I think both on men's and women's side, we've really climbed up the table. We're really showing an impetus on how we want to play football, a style of play, but also win games. And, we want to continue to progress because there's cup competitions and, other things that we want to win domestically. And I think, Europe is not too far away when you look at the table for both teams. So that would be the next step for the team to really try and push to get consistent performances, consistent wins to get, climb up the table. But, from last year 9th to this year now 5th, these are the areas that we want to continue to grow in.
The dream is to take the deck chair to Europe.
Oh, well, if I can take the
beach in sunny Spain.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, right. It's time to get back to our Brighton fans. Thank you all so much for still being here with us. This first question coming now has been sent in by Kirsty Coy-Martin, and it is for you, Fran.
Hello, Miss Fran, and hello, Miss Nikita. My name's Scooter, and I'm 9 years old. I'm also a season ticket holder for the women's team, and I've been coming to all the home games and some away games with my mum Kirsty for the last 3 seasons. My mum has a disability and I'm her assistance dog. Anyway, My question is for Miss Fran. I want to know, do you take your dog Cody with you to training at Lancing? And if so, is there a doggy daycare there with other players' dogs like Theo Torres-Dottir? So if there is, what do they get up to? Do they have fun? And could I possibly come one day to sniffle their butts? Thanks very much. Love you lots. Lots of licks, Scooter.
Wow, what a question.
Wow.
Absolutely brilliant,
Yeah.
Kirsty. Scooter, thank you for that. Fran, important question here.
I'm
Do you bring your dog?
absolutely devastated to say no.
No.
No, we're not allowed.
Oh, wow.
Club
You'd love
policy.
to,
I
right?
would absolutely love to, and I think it would be great.
So you're not allowed to bring a dog, which means obviously there's no doggy daycare.
No, exactly. So the dogs can't bond,
Would your dog enjoy it here?
He would absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He'd be running around the whole
Yeah.
building. Yeah, he'd be saying hello to everyone, and probably the same with Maria's dogs, Vicky dog. I think it'd be ended up with a lot of dogs.
Yeah,
Scooter as well.
a lot of dogs.
Scooter,
Yeah.
we can include Scooter.
Yeah, exactly. We did have a puppy. What was it? Can't remember what it was called now. Puppy,
Like
a relaxation.
therapy,
Yeah, puppy therapy.
There we go.
thing.
The Scooter's waving.
So-
Hi, Scooter.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to be able to bring my dog, but unfortunately, he has to stay at home. Do you know what? He lives his absolute best life when I'm not there.
Does
We
he?
get up in the morning, we go for a walk, and we come home, and literally from the minute I leave the door, he's in bed. And the minute I come back, he comes down the stairs from bed. So he's literally in
Yeah,
bed
he's
for like
chilling.
Dream.
4 or 5 hours. Like he's absolutely like perfectly happy being at home, but I would love to bring him in.
Okay, well, you have to look out for Kirsty and Scooter at your next game. I'll be there
Absolutely.
cheering you, supporting you, there waving. Thank you so much. Brilliant. Thank you, Kirsty. Okay, right. Moving on now to our next question. It's from Heidi McVean. It's from both of you. Okay, so the team have obviously benefited hugely from having you here. How do you think you can continue to have a positive impact? And you've actually already answered this, but do you have any future coaching aspirations? Fran, should we start with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think you always need players in your environment who have a lot of experience and have a lot of, different experiences to maybe those who have played here previously. I think me and Keats coming in maybe brought a different dynamic to how it was before. I think obviously before, the girls, didn't maybe feel that they could win. Obviously, had some really, really good players here, over the last however many years, but maybe haven't quite had that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think me and Keats, we come in every day wanting to win in training every day, wanting to help, sometimes probably a bit too much.
But change your mentality.
Yeah. And I think, when you have people in the environment that have that mentality, it comes to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think having people in your environment, like I've seen a change in some of the girls from the beginning when I first joined to now, where I can see that they are, putting them standards on themselves every single day, putting the standards on others, putting the standards on as the team, being able to have difficult conversations in front of everyone and say, do you know what, this is actually not good enough. And, maybe previously them conversations, like when I first started, maybe it wasn't that kind of way. So I think when you bring players in who are hungry and want to help and want to help develop, I joined hoping that I could make a change and hoping I could bring my experience and hoping, that I could help a team do more and be better and win. And I think, bringing Keats in as well was massive in driving that as well. So I think we both can help the team push on and go further forward. And hopefully, we can keep building them blocks going forward and bringing others along with us.
Would you agree with that, Nikita?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think the mentality, there's been a shift. I think for me personally as a player, I want to win everything. I want to win in every game. I want to win in every training session. And my competitiveness does rub off on other people. I feel like, for sure, the demands from me as a player to others is very high. And sometimes players can, disagree. That's fine. But that's football. That's how you learn. I have learned so much from others being in this team, sometimes to relax, knowing when to switch off, when to chill. And I think as a player, my mindset, my focus, sometimes I'm so hungry to win and so determined to win that I forget that, football is not your whole life. It's not who you are. It's not football is a part of Nikita Parris, but it isn't Nikita Parris. And I think being here has helped me understand that.
Getting a balance.
Yeah, it's important. It's really important.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much to all our fans for those fantastic questions today. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah,
it's been
really
good. It's been
Yeah,
good.
really good. Thank you.
Sadly, unfortunately, we can only have one winner though for best question, and that is a signed shirt. So it's time to announce the winner now. We have decided that the winner has got to be Kirsty Coy-Martin and her dog Scooter for that fabulous question. So congratulations to you. A signed shirt, a celebration there. Signed shirt is on its way to you. Oh, there's Scooter. A very happy Scooter. Yeah, you'll have a signed shirt on its way. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everyone. It's been absolutely brilliant. That is a wrap on our digital experience today. We hope you've had a great time. Please keep an eye out for more events like this, because there's going to be plenty more exclusive live events coming soon. And do not forget to get your tickets to see our women play against Liverpool at the Amex. That's Saturday, the 19th of April. There is a link in the chat to get your tickets, and they will go on sale on Friday. Well, thank you all. I hope you've enjoyed getting to know our players a little bit more. Thank you to Fran. Thank you to Nikita. Good luck at the weekend.
Thank you.
I hope you can go and beat Manchester City. And we'll see you all very soon. Thank you and goodbye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Go Brighton! Jugo!
Kirby might find a finish at the end of it. It's Fran Kirby. It's 3-2 Brighton Hove Albion. The player for the big stage. Kirby, lovely drag back to Rachel McLaughlin, who will bend it into the far corner and give the Seagulls the lead at the Amex again. Simons to hit one through the crowd. It's in. It's redirected home by Nikita Parris.